Good morning. It is Thursday, March 6th, and I feel like a little bit like a yo-yo, up and down, back and forth. Today, of course, we're talking about the auto industry tariff exemption, best resale value for cars in Google AI search mode.
Hey,
What they're trying to do to keep up with the fact that lots of people just search on ChatGPT now.
that's all it is. That's there. Everybody has figured like, hey, we're just headed that way. So what do we do? So we'll talk about it. We got some insights on that.
Yeah, my 13-year-old searching that way. We got issues.
It just is the way.
I don't know if they're issues, I don't know. Listen, look, put the slide up. We have this Slack channel. We have several Slack channels about ASOTU, but
That's right.
we have these early indicators that things are really heating up, and that's our back-end Slack channels integrated with people signing up and buying tickets and requesting sponsorship information, all that. And that's how, like, we're so in it right now. ASOTUCon 2025 coming in super hot. Thank you so much. Our presenting sponsors, Reynolds of Reynolds and Gubagooo, stepped up early to make sure ASOTUCon was as good as it possibly could be. And so we want to say you need to be there because it's going to be unbelievable. I mean, we're kind of hype guys, just in general. I think people would say we're hype men.
I get it.
But anyone that's been to ASOTUCon knows that we're not exaggerating.
Well, we put out a video of just people talking about ASOTUCon last year, and I didn't
see any of that stuff. You know what I mean?
I didn't.
That was the first time you saw all that.
Exactly. I didn't see any of that. I didn't prompt anyone to say that. I think that, you know, when you look at the operational, functional things that you get out of the content, the conversations, the connections at this event in particular, and we go to all the events, like, you know, we absolutely love the Kane NCM event, the PASH events, NADA. We're at them all, and they are great for connecting. There's just something different about what goes on at ASOTUCon. So you got to be there, man. I was on like panel prep calls, people talking about what they're going to be speaking about, bunch of different places yesterday already. So it is heating up. Yeah, cute.
Let's give some props to Nathan, our producer.
Nathan has the video.
He's like, do you want the video in the show notes? He's like, he's like, cue it. I got it right here in my back pocket.
Only because you're that quick at it. Boom. Cue the video, go.
People here are the tip of the spear when it comes to excellence in automotive.
The speakers, the sessions, I took pages and pages of notes. I have so many ideas that I can't wait to go back to the dealership with.
The environment, the network, the people here, I tell everybody, it's different.
The conversations around the happy hours and lunch, it's just a great experience all the way around.
I love this conference because it just combines like-minded people that loves people more than cars and just coming together and just re-energizing.
My favorite part of ASOTUCon is the people, the environment, and the vibe. I am so here for it, and I can't wait for next year.
I got in the auto industry so that I could change the auto industry. I never thought in a million years that I would find people that thought exactly like me. It's more than just sales. It's more than just products. It's more than opportunity. It's about a community coming together and talking about things that really matter.
ASOTU continues to just step up their game. This year, there's so many progressive dealers, and they bring to us what they're doing. It allows us the opportunity to continue to enhance our game and raise the level when we get back.
The details are done exquisitely. The recharge lounge, the racing, all of the things add up to a really great vibe, and it was very, very fun, very interactive.
That makes me so happy.
Oh, they make me happy.
So many of those dealers on there like, I want to spend more time with you next year.
I know, right?
So many.
Yeah.
Well, look, if you're wondering, that was just a small fraction of the hundreds of dealers that were there. And you need to be there too. Go to ASOTUCon.com, get your tickets, and please, we said this every day, and we'll keep saying it until it's full. Book your hotel room at the event hotel as soon as possible, because that's going to be the first thing to get the sold out sign on it. We have every room they'll give us, which is like 98% of the rooms in the hotel, and it's going to sell out it'll sell out probably in a matter of weeks at this point.
Before April, for sure.
And so I don't want that to be the reason you're like, well, I can wait another 2 weeks, because it could go faster, because the second all of like the people who already have their tickets and the industry partners who are bringing their people are like, oh, we better book. It's going to fill up super quick. All right. Time to get some news. Oh, so yesterday, you all know what we talked about. Oh my gosh. Trump before Congress, tariffs. What are we going to do? Well, like 30 seconds later, the U.S. industry is temporarily relieved by a 1-month exemption from the 25% tariffs on vehicles covered by the United States, Mexico, Canada agreement, otherwise known as USMCA. President Trump granted reprieve following requests from Ford, GM, and Stellantis with the ultimate goal of shifting production to the U.S. The automotive provisions of the USMCA require 75% of a vehicle's components to be made in North America, up from 62% under NAFTA to qualify for zero tariffs. And it also mandates that 40 to 45% of auto parts be made by workers earning at least $16 per hour, looking to boost North American production labor standards. Most manufacturers comply with USMCA standards and the American Automotive Policy Council, and automakers both express gratitude for the temporary exemption. Suppliers obviously concerned about long-term impacts. Dealers and industry experts see the exemption as part of the broader strategy to encourage domestic manufacturing, but there's still uncertainty. Here's a quote from Glenn Stevens, executive director of Mitch Auto, like Michigan, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Michigan.
Says Mitch Auto. The damage has already been done. For an industry that operates in 3 to 5 year product cycles, this level of day-to-day uncertainty is debilitating.
That's the thing that to me is like, how do you make decisions as a company?
How do you focus on building a business, right?
You start having these like rush meetings, even just the stuff that we saw happening last month in pre-producing cars, in increasing the amount of inventory and parts stocking, and then all of a sudden now you've got this part stock and increased inventory that maybe you didn't have to worry about, but you may still have to worry about in 1 month, right? The jury's still out on what the long-term impact or what the long-term opportunity for this is. We got a month of reprieve. It's really only for 3 manufacturers. So this doesn't impact all the other manufacturers that are going to be hit by these tariffs, the ones that are manufacturing vehicles or parts in Canada and Mexico. So there's still a lot to kind of like uncover from this. But for the big 3 here in the US, definitely a little bit of reprieve. I can't imagine doing business, making decisions as a large corporation under this kind of a type of strenuous thing.
Well, it's a 30-day reprieve, right?
That's
so
it.
That basically is giving time for people to figure out how they can get a longer exemption.
Yep.
Right. Like they're not going to be able to like make any meaningful changes. They're just going to have to make a case for the fact,
lobby for it,
that they should have another 9 months, right, till the end of 2025 in order to, like meet certain requirements or show enough commitment that the reprieve gets extended. So it's all hands on deck. There's an army of lobbyists and lawyers and business strategists trying to figure out how they can actually, the big 3 anyway, can figure this out. I mean, and if you're not one of the big 3, right?
Still in it.
Yeah. And so we'll see. I guess we'll see.
Can't imagine.
I know. We know it's going to do to used cars. Speaking of used cars,
Segue.
It's been way too long since we used the segue button. Just realizing that. Last week, we covered cars with the most depreciation, and now Kelley Blue Book has announced its annual Best Resale Value Awards, highlighting the top performers of 2025. The top 10 vehicles are projected to retain an average of 58% of their original MSRP, compared to the market average of 44.6%. No surprise here. Toyota dominates the list, securing 4 of the top 10 spots, including the number 1 spot, which is the 2025 Toyota Tacoma, with a projected 64.1% resale value. That's like 50% higher than the average.
It's kind of ridiculous.
The full top 10 list is the 2025 Toyota GR Supra, 25 Porsche 911, 25 RAV4, 25 CRV, Mercedes-Benz G-Class, Ford Bronco, Toyota 4Runner, Tundra, Chevy Corvette, and the Toyota Tacoma.
There it is. So obviously we all know like Toyota has been a long-standing mainstay in Best Resale Value Awards. Just, if you don't know a little bit about the awards, these percentages are based on a 60-year term as far as resale value. And
no, a 60-month term.
60
5
months.
years. Yeah.
Didn't I say 60? Did I say 60 years? 60
yeah, I know what you meant.
I mean, if they're retaining that much value over 60 years,
it's a
let me just
Toyota.
say, I'm going
It's a Toyota. No, after 60 years,
Cruiser,
after 60 years, they're way higher. It's like 200% original
Right.
MSRP.
So yeah, for 60 months. And, when you look at this, obviously this is resale value. This isn't wholesale value. But when you look at this, you start to look at, hey, look, where am I looking for leasing and where might consumers be looking for leasing? Because you're going to have great 3-year terms, based on the residual value of that car. So if you're a part of any of these manufacturers, maybe take a look at the leases today, see how they're performing, because that's probably a place where your consumers are looking as well. Right. But kudos to Toyota for just putting in the good work with the good cars and all that stuff.
You know what I like? I like when Nathan chimes in on the show.
And just like comes out of nowhere.
It's great, but I'm going to call you out. If you're going to do that, you need to get your mic set up. You know, it's sitting there. Right, I'm gonna call him out because I love when he does it. It's so fun, and I think it's an awesome dynamic to the show. But I mean, like the mic's probably sitting like 3 inches from his mouse pad right now. It's just not plugged in. He's smiling. Got him.
He can't even come on the show.
He's like, am I allowed to say something now?
No, he can't even say anything else. It's not allowed.
Shame.
I wish you could see him. I wish he was on screen. Oh no, it's so good. Let's keep it rolling. Google is accelerating its AI integration into search with a new feature called AI mode, adding a chat-like experience to the core of Google search. AI mode, currently in testing, is only available to Google One AI premium subscribers and must be enabled in the labs section of search. So it's a very small few, but you can see where they're headed. Feature offers a search-centric chatbot experience, delivering AI-generated answers directly from Google's search index with supporting links throughout. So very similar to like what Bing did early, and now how you might be chatting with a GPT or Perplexity. It uses the Gemini 2.0 model, aiming to improve Google's ability to handle more advanced queries while providing real-time data and web interaction. Obviously still kind of up in the air out there in the world of search, whether or not AI search is going to become the absolute mainstay, or we're going to continue to get like regular search results. Quote from Robbie Stein, VP of product at Google, says, what we're finding from people who are using AI overviews is that they're really bringing different kinds of questions to Google. They're more complex questions that may have been a little bit harder before. So people are just asking more long form things. They're getting used to this like more in-depth way of searching as opposed to like just your 3-word near me type stuff. And that's how those Google AI answers are happening.
I will say at this point, my search behavior is probably 50-50.
Yep, that's right.
It's about 50-50. The times when I will use a traditional Google search now, it's so funny that we're talking about traditional Google search. I just said that. The traditional, back the way our grandparents used to do it. Yeah. But if I use traditional Google search, it's usually because I'm trying to buy something.
Right.
Because I want to list, I want to see the pictures, I want to see the products. And I've actually been increasingly frustrated with Siri that it doesn't respond like GPT would, like ChatGPT would.
It's pretty wild.
There was an article, we didn't get to cover it last week, but Apple, like the news is like that they're actually a lot further behind than they wanted to be at this point.
Yeah. They're saying next year.
Now. Yeah. And so like with Google doing this, I love the idea of having a chat window where you can have this conversation. I feel like you'd be able to get to what you want faster. The real question is, how are they going to maintain their ad model with this going on? And it also is a good reminder that it still gets all of its source information from good web content, good social media content, and that is what is informing. What's the term that they use for the optimization? It's like generative. It's got a G in it. It's not SEO. It's like G. I can't remember what that.
Generative engine optimization.
Yeah, exactly.
GEO. Yeah.
Which is the bottom line is like you still need to put great content on the internet because like that's
great content. Speedy website experience so the crawlers can understand it, well formatted SEO header formatting so that it can understand the semantic hierarchy of the web page. Like all of those content things are extremely important, and like bulleted lists, semantic hierarchy are even more important now when you think about these AI overviews. They're literally extracting that content from the way the HTML is structured. So when looking at your web provider and when looking at the content structure, the design structure, it's ever more important to kind of create in that so that you can get in that generative search. I can tell you the other thing that I would look out for is an increased amount of zero-click search, but you need to be branding yourself at every turn and in all of your content, because that branded search model where zero-click results are happening is going to be ever more important to make sure that people find you later down in the process.
Hey, I don't know if it was you or Ben that made a post about this. Maybe it was Ben Hadley. Is it true that because, obviously to have these crawlers getting information from the web takes a certain amount of compute, it's a finite resource. Is it true that like the headers and the bulleted lists are valuable just because it takes less compute to like pull information from that? Do we know that?
Well, so whenever your like actual content structure from like the raw HTML that's sitting there is easier for the bot to understand,
Right
and
out of the gate.
there's less like there's less divs to go down, that the structure of the body isn't so intense where you've got like content structure inside of content structure. It definitely is easier for these crawlers to crawl. And I mean, just the speed of the website is important too, because the crawl budget is all based on, you know, how much compute does it take to crawl one web page and understand what's going on. It's going to be just more and more important that your content is structured appropriately for these engines to be able to understand.
I feel like we gave everybody the full thing today. They got to see a video.
All
we got
of it.
nerdy at the end.
Goodness.
We got to Riz. We got to hassle Nathan, our producer. But again, Nathan, we expect you on the show more. But plug in your mic.
Got him.